This is a quick video to everybody in Anderson Manor Condo Association to bring you up to date. I know Catherine had sent out an email trying to schedule our quarterly meeting, and I probably too short of an email saying that we might need to move things forward due to the collapsing curb line in front of the property. So just to bring you up to date, I noticed this was a problem back in March and reported it like March 19th, the city of Chicago. They sent out the Department of Transportation, who looked at it and said, I don't know what they said. Anyways, I've reported it 3 more times. Finally sent an email to the 40th Ward, Andre Vasquez, asking him to escalate this problem that somebody's going to, a tire of a car or delivery truck is going to drop into that curb that is washed away. And, I know that's the city of Chicago, but nobody needs a damaged vehicle. Me, anybody else. Amazon, who cares? This thing has got to be like, something is wrong out there. We got to figure out what it is. So the water department this week has been out 3 times, and I have been lucky enough to be working from home and out with the dog and caught people. So I think it was last week they did a dye test where they put in green dye. I think they dropped it in that hole in front of the fire hydrant and opened the manhole cover further down the street and watched for the green dye to enter the sewer, and it didn't. Then somebody else came out yesterday. I talked to the guy, but I didn't ask him what his specific specialty was. And today I was walking the dog, and there was another big water department truck out there. So that crew specifically inspects hydrants. So I had probably a 15-minute conversation with that tech, and I've explained that hydrant was used earlier this spring. They attached something similar to a fire hose and used the water going east on Rasher to test the sewer where the street has been dug up. I believe it's now 4 times. They dig it up, they do work, they patch the road. A couple months later, it's sunken. A couple months later, they finally come back, they dig it up again, rinse and repeat. So that's been done 4 times. The tech today explained to me that a fire hydrant, so they have the hydrant, and then there's a barrel, and then there's a drain. So when a fire hose is attached to that hydrant, then there's a nozzle at the end that, almost like a nozzle on a garden hose, right? So that would be turned off. They turn on the valve that takes water from the city of Chicago, puts it into the hydrant. So that barrel fills up, water goes out the hose, and that's all under tremendous pressure. So there's a new theory that there could be a crack in the barrel. There could be a crack or a clogged drain. So, again, that hydrant has a drain. So when that's under pressure, so if they were starting the test down the road, they got everything hooked up, they got the water turned on, they were turning on their camera, setting up their equipment, and that hydrant was engaged and the hose was filled, water would go into the barrel and then it would drain out. So if that drain is clogged, if there's a crack in the barrel, that could be washing away, because this neighborhood, there's a lot of sand underneath. So I don't know where the sand gets washed to, maybe into the sewer. I don't know. But it gets washed away from the pressure of the water. Kind of going back to, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, a different team was here and slapped a big green notice on our door saying they think our sewer drain that comes from our building and goes across the parkway and attaches to the main sewer line, which is in the center of the street. And I'm happy to walk anybody and everybody through this. Has either collapsed or it's segmented clay tiles. So maybe the tiles have separated over time. Roots have gotten in it. There's a lot of options of what could potentially happen. City of Chicago has a program that if you are a 4-unit or smaller building, there's either a co-op or the city pays to replace those drains. We are a 6-unit building, technically. So this might be our problem. So I called 2 of the plumbers that have done work in pipes and drains in the building, which is kind of a different plumber than we need for this particular project. My 2 plumbers, one suggested somebody that's like way out in Elk Grove Village. Another plumber, Frank Canali, who's done a lot of work. He's done work for me and Catherine and Jim and Amanda. Suggested Madden. They're local. They're in North Center on Western Avenue. So I've called them. The test that we have to do is send a camera through the sewer line. It has to be a licensed and bonded contractor. We have to pull a permit. We have to schedule a water department inspector who is on site to watch the camera as this is done. So, good news, bad news. We know what we have to do. Our quote for Madden is $800 for that test to see what's going on. I'm lucky that I met Tim or Tom, the fire hydrant guy, and I said, what do I do to get you guys out here to inspect this fire hydrant at the same time I'm having our sewer line inspected? Because if the sewer line's not it, let's get all the teams together and get this done in one swoop. So we're not, it's like going to the emergency room 5 times. We don't want to do that. We want to go to the emergency room once and get the right specialist to figure it out. And hopefully it's the city of Chicago and we don't have to pay for anything. But we have to advocate for ourselves. So I have the supervisor's name for the water department north, which is different than the water department I was calling on the south side. And I didn't know there were different districts, but now I have where our crews come out of. I have the name of a supervisor, and I'm going to coordinate very likely with Madden just because they're working on the thing. It's $800. Are we going to save $200? I don't know, maybe, but the reality is, let's get this done. Let's get a company that we can get the supervisor out. We can get this hydrant guy and that crew out because I want to have the hydrant tested at the same time we do the scope. Send the scope through, and hopefully Madden can also drop a camera down into the big sinkhole when the hydrant is turned on and shooting down, they're going to attach a hose to it and it'll be dumped into the catch basin in the middle of the street in front of 3 Martini Genie and Greg's house, which is approximately 1718 or 1717. I think they're on the outside of the street. Anyways, so the easiest way for me to describe all this was just to create this video. Anybody that wants a one-on-one explanation, you're welcome to call me. I can try and type all this up and give you a timeline of all the 311 app reports that I've made and the different departments that have come out and the different conversations that I've had with what appears to be 3 different departments within the water department. None of this is easy to solve, but I'm probably going to need some backup help because if they say that it's our sewer and we start it could be going into the street. This is going to be a very big expense. And I, in my heart of heart, this all started when that silly fire hydrant was used by the sewer or the water department to test that sinkhole in the middle of the street further down. So I honestly, I'm glad I got the explanation today that there's a drain on the fire hydrant, there's a barrel on the fire hydrant, something could be defective there. So there you go, friends. Talk to you soon.